Stay tuned for another retro gaming video with your host Big Friendly here at the Gen X Memories YouTube channel. Oops, sorry.
You stinky son of a...
Hey everybody, Big Friendly with Gen X Memories. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to be playing an Activision game called Frostbite that came out back in 1983. In Frostbite, you're playing a character named Frostbite Bailey. And what Bailey is trying to do, he's trying to build his igloo before the temperature reaches 0 and he freezes to death. So basically, the temperature starts out at 45 and it gets to 0, you die. So it's kind of like a timer. In order to build his igloo, he must acquire frozen blocks of ice. And the way he does this is by jumping on those ice floes that float back and forth across the river. Now, when you jump on each floe, you get one block for your igloo, and it will start stacking up at the top of the screen on the right side. And after you've jumped on all the floes, they'll reset, and you can do the jumping on them again until you get your igloo built. When your igloo is finished, you can hop back up to the shoreline and run inside, and the level will be over. Now, as far as obstacles go, the swans, the crabs, and the clams, they don't kill you when they touch you, but they push you off the ice floe into the freezing water, and that kills you instantly. So avoid them at all costs. Now, the green fish that move across, you can collect those for bonus points. And a few levels into the game, a polar bear will appear up on the shoreline, and it will basically try to chase you. And if it catches you, it runs you off the screen, and you lose a life. Now, if you find yourself in a pinch on an ice floe, you can press the button on the controller, and that will reverse the direction of the ice floe. The only downside is if your igloo is not complete, it will cost you one block of ice every time you do that. So just remember that. All right, enough jibber jabbering. Let's play a game of Frostbite. Now, at first glance, this looks kind of like a Q-Bert clone, but I wouldn't say. I would say it's more of a cross between Q-Bert and like Frogger. For one thing, the ice floes are moving; they're not stationary, and you're going across water. But it kind of blends both of those games, and the fact that you can reverse the ice floes is cool too. Now on the points, it starts out like at 10 points, and then the second wave goes to 20, then 30, then 40, and I think it goes up to 90, I believe. Of course, so the higher you get, the more points you'll score. Those fish, they're easy points, but you got to be careful because it doesn't take long for the thermometer to reach 0. It really doesn't. You can get sidetracked. And, you know, it's not a big deal now because the game is pretty easy, but once you get up around 20,000 points, it gets incredibly hectic. This is a game that I don't think I ever really played this years ago. I vaguely remember it because I remember seeing the ads for it in magazines. But did any of y'all have this game back then, or have a chance to play it? Let me know in the comments. See how you can get the button and reverse them. Now, of course, like I said in the intro, if your igloo's not finished, you'll lose one brick every time you press the button. So you got to be careful about that. Once it's done, you can do it all you want. I should have went down there and, yeah, I screwed that up. It gets so hectic, and sometimes you'll find yourself not just planning your next move, but maybe the move after that, and that can often get you killed. You know that old sports analogy in football, you know, when a wide receiver drops a pass and they review it, they look at it in the replay, and they'll say, hold on a second, that was close. and they say he ran with the ball before he actually caught it or had it. That's kind of like it is in this when you're trying to plan your moves and everything. Okay. I didn't know what that flickering was. I think it just means it's nighttime. It doesn't mean anything any different. The flickering inside the igloo when it's finished. Oh, Lordy. You see just how close this gets. There's fish. Yeah. Sometimes you get on that left side of the screen and then it will get me killed. Just because something will enter that side and knock you off the flow. At first you can outrun the polar bear, but as it gets harder, at the very least I think he can run the same speed you can. Oh no, no! That was a bad death. I just panicked in a tight spot. It can happen when you get close to the edge of the screen. And plus, it was down to 8 degrees, so again, it doesn't take long for the temperature to drop to 0. Ah! Come on, come on. All right, let's see if I can get back up there and get off this thing. No! Ugh. I haven't been playing for a real long time. I mean, I've probably played for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours altogether. All right. You get a free man every 5,000 points, and trust me, you need it. I think there is one variation where I feel like that's a rip-off. I thought I jumped down there after they were already passed. There's a variation where you can play, start later in the game where it's harder, because the first 2 or 3 levels are pretty easy. Of course, if you're playing on an emulator, you can also just use a save state. I think my high score so far, I think it's 32,000. All right, got an opening. Let's go. See, look how fast it's going. Oh, I don't have any bricks. I can't reverse it. No! Oh, I almost made it. See, I wasn't paying attention. I reversed it and only had 1 block. Jeez. Hey, this isn't going to take much longer, y'all. Polar bear got me. Come on, let's see if I can clear 1 more. Oh no! Hanging off the left side. I gotta stop doing that. Hanging out on that left side of the screen. That'll get you killed, especially when everything's moving so friggin' fast. Okay, now y'all see how it's played. Let's check out some other stuff about this game. Just a quick reminder, y'all, do me a quick favor and hit that like button if you don't mind. It only takes a second, doesn't cost you a cent. If you're enjoying my stuff and you have not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. And if you have any friends that enjoy retro gaming, go ahead and share the video. I really appreciate your support.
I found something, sir. Oh, good grief, man. That's the great Frostbite Bailey. Against all odds, he builds his igloo by leaping treacherous moving ice. What? He faces one fearsome predator after another.
What?
In a grueling race to keep from freezing.
He didn't make it, did he?
Help me stand him up.
I think he wants wants a beer, sir.
I think he said bear.
Frostbite for the Atari 2600. Designed by Steve Cartwright for Activision.
It took some digging, but I was able to find a couple of reviews for Frostbite. I wasn't sure if I would be able to because this is October of '83, so we know at this point how many games are coming out, so these publications can only review so many. But The Logical Gamer and the Video Game Update both reviewed it, and they both liked it. The Video Game Update, their two guys gave it 3 out of 4 stars, and they say must be played to be appreciated. Frostbite is a bright and colorful game, though the graphics are not as impressive as the typical Activision offering. Frostbite Bailey is a cute little guy in snowshoes, but he is a bit blocky. Of all the enemy creatures, the best are the white snow geese. Our initial impression of the game was basically cute, but kind of dumb. Much to our surprise, however, we found it very difficult to stop once we got going. The more we played it, the better we liked it. This game is quite simple to learn, but the difficulty level increases rapidly, especially after the polar bear grizzly appears on the scene. It's a game that must be played several times to be appreciated, and then you won't want to stop. Now, the suggested retail was $31.95, and I was curious about that because, coming out in October, getting close to Christmas, I wondered if it would be less than that. So I did some digging, and I'm going to show you. Okay, this is the Montgomery Advertiser, Montgomery, Alabama. This is Thursday, November 24th, 1983, so this is right around Thanksgiving, I'm thinking. And there's a store called Circus World. It was in Montgomery Mall. That mall is long gone, but I found it right here. Frostbite, new released, $18.88, and that was in 1983. So I was curious. I was like, well, I wonder what it cost the following year during the holidays. So I found the Birmingham News. This is December 16th, 1984. And you see right here on the left, you could get it for $3.50. What a difference a year makes, right? I mean, all of these Activision games, Dolphin, Crackpots, Keystone Capers, Pressure Cooker, Kaboom, Robot Tank, Mega Mania, Frostbite. I mean, all those were ones that, were very popular. And up here above this, you got some of the really, these companies are the ones that have already gone bankrupt, like Apollo and US Games, $2.50 for Racquetball. That's still a ripoff. Well, it wouldn't be today, but back then it was. I think it's proper that we remember or just do a shout out for Steve Cartwright. Another one of those great programmers that went to Activision. I don't think he was one of the original guys, but I think he did get on there pretty soon after they started. Barnstorming was his first game, and I'm pretty sure that Frostbite was his last game. But I'm sure that most would agree that Mega Mania was definitely the most popular game he ever did. I think it's a cool game. I know I've seen some folks say it's their favorite shooter of all time for the 2600. I think I still prefer Demon Attack, but you can't argue about it being different and being challenging. There's no question about it. Now, on the rarity scale, Frostbite is one of the more rare Activision titles. It is a 4, and to me, this comes across as one of those 4, but it feels more like a 5 or a 6, especially when you look at how many are listed and what the going price for the games are. Here are a few photographs of Steve Cartwright. These are kind of old and pretty old. 1985, 1992, and 2001. Yeah, actually a handsome fella. Most video game designers, they kind of look nerdy. Not all the time, but a lot of times. He was a good-looking dude in his young days. All right. His credits. Now, the biggest thing, let's go ahead and start back down here at the bottom. Of course, you have his Atari stuff. Like I said, I think Frostbite was the last game he made with Activision before he left. And he started making games for the computers like a lot of these programmers did, after the game crash basically killed the home market for a few years. I remember this Aliens game. I had a friend who had a Commodore 64, maybe, I think he had this. Or it was an Apple II. I guess this has been back when I was in high school, but I remember seeing that, and I think it was pretty popular. The Fast Break basketball game, that's another one that I played once or twice over at a friend's house, and it looked pretty good for its day. Let's see. This is pretty cool. Look at this screenshot. I mean, that's not long after Nike had gotten the license. What do you think that would cost to do that now? Probably a fortune. But I mean, they secured it with Jordan, if I remember correctly, probably not long after he got in the NBA, or maybe when he first got in the NBA. But so this has only been for a few years. And here's a screenshot of the actual game. It's not bad. Not bad for, late 80s. Let's get back to the main screen here. Now, the other thing I noticed is that he did a lot of golf games. Initially just for computers, and then the PS1. And I think I remember reading, or maybe heard a story, that whenever they managed to secure, this is Electronic Arts, I'm assuming, they managed to secure the Tiger Woods name to the game, how it went from being a modest success to just exploding. And I could see that, because around the turn of the century or early 2000s, it seemed like that's when Tiger Woods was just killing it, and that was before he ran around with his wife and she chased him out in the yard with a golf club and smashed his SUV. I'll never understand why would you get married? I mean, if you want to chase ladies and just have fun, do that. Don't get married if you don't think you can be loyal to your wife. But it is what it is. And let's finally find out what people are asking for Frostbite. And like I said earlier, it's kind of high. It looks like a copy will cost you at the bare minimum between $30 and $40. That's for cartridge only. And of course, like all these Activision games, the labels, have that bleed through that looks so bad. There's actually one guy over on Atari Age. I call him the Cluckster because his profile, his avatar is a picture of Foghorn Leghorn. But he makes his own labels, and he redoes these Activision games. I mean, you see they sell them on here, and boy, they do look a lot better once you do that. But it copies with everything, box all, $100. I mean, you see it's pretty steady, $30 with shipping, so $30 to $40 minimum. Now, as far as what they've sold for, I noticed this. Look at this Brazilian copy that has actually got the Atari silver label. That's pretty neat. You see right there, $30, so free shipping. So that's the bare minimum. Like I said, as far as complete copies, here's one. It's $60. That was an actual auction. That's not bad, really, when you consider how much they're going for. $75. So I don't think there's any of those sealed ones on here that the people always want crazy prices for. $80, $299. That one sold. It's still got the label on that, still wrapped. So $300 for a pristine condition unopened copy of Frostbite.
Gen X Memories would like to thank the following websites for all of their excellent information, which helps make videos like this a hell of a lot easier to make. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your retro gaming friends. Thank you.